My name is Genda Belgium Blanche King. It was a sad day in Kumba, chief town of Kmer division, earlier today as mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, relatives and sympathizers joined to pay their last respect to the 7 victims of the October 24 massacre perpetrated by unidentified armed men who stormed the Mother Francisca International Bilingual School. A mass funeral to this effect took place earlier today at the Kumba Amusement Park with inconsolable family members, well-wishers and the Kumba population. In attendance and representing the head of state was Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Nkodengui. Also present at the ceremony was Territorial Administration Boss Paul Atanganji, Minister of Health, Minister Manauda Malachi, amongst other dignitaries. National and international community have equally given out general outcry regarding the security situation in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. The fate of some 11 teachers of the Presbyterian Education Board kidnapped by some unidentified armed men is still uncertain. What is the Presbyterian Church saying about this is what Nkodengui tells us in the following report.
Since October 24, 2020, there has been a recurrent attack on schools in both the restive northwest and southwest regions of the country. The recent trend, which began with the assassination of some 7 school children at the Mother Francisca International Academy complex in Kumba, has escalated to the kidnapping, torturing, scare of some school children, and to a greater extent, the hostage of some teachers. From the lay private to the mission schools, the stake is uncertain, as recently some 11 teachers of the Presbyterian Primary School Kumbo, as well as those of the day section of the secondary school PCHS Kumbo, were carted away by some unidentified armed men upon release till date. A situation which has caused the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon to launch an appeal to the kidnappers of the 11 teachers to release the captives. Contained in the release, the moderator on behalf of the Presbyterian Church, the Right Reverend Funky Samuel Foba, strongly condemns the act which continuously deprives children of the rights to education. As of now, the entire church is praying for the teachers, parents, children, and other stakeholders during these very trying moments. This is also happening at a time when the mortal remains of the 7 school children who were killed during the October 24 Kumba massacre have been given the last honor by the state and well wishes. As at press time, the families of the said teachers remain uncertain about the fate and whereabouts of their loved ones.
9 members of the MRC political party of Maurice Kamto have been sentenced to 6 months in jail, accused of inciting violence and masterminding resistance against the government. Gladys Bomotongina in the French language.
Après la décision hier du juge d'instruction du tribunal militaire de Yaoundé, le nommé Bias Noël Albert, 9 autres militants du mouvement pour la renaissance du Cameroun MRC ont été conduits à la prison centrale de Nkodengui, où ils séjourneront pour pas moins de 6 mois. Parmi eux, 2 cadres de ce parti, à savoir Olivier Biboum-Nissak et Alain Fogui, tous 2 absents lors de la dite protestation du 22 septembre dernier. Ils sont tous accusés de tentative de révolution, d'attroupement aggravé et de non-possession de carte nationale d'identité. D'autre part, le président de ce parti d'opposition, le professeur Maurice Kamto, reste toujours maintenu en résidence surveillée. Une situation qui a d'ailleurs conduit ses avocats, il y a quelque temps de cela, à porter plainte contre l'État du Cameroun, et dont l'audience pour l'examen de cette plainte est prévue pour le 22 novembre prochain.
Security forces have sealed more than 5 companies operating clandestinely in some parts of Douala 4 subdivision, littoral region of the country. The shops were sealed after security forces identified some unhealthy practices carried out during production. From Quinta with details.
The question as to the quality of products we consume in Cameroon today has been on the lips of citizens owing to the fact that some companies operating in the country do not meet up with hygiene and sanitation rules. To curb the situation, security forces stormed about 4 factories operating clandestinely in the nation's political capital yesterday. Their first stop was at a coffee factory operating in Bojongo Bonaberi Douala 4 subdivision, where the environment was untidy as workers claimed they began using the place few days back.
One piece. One piece.
Just have the one we'll not be used to the place. So don't come to. And since we come I used to do.
A few meters from the coffee factory is another producing soap and body lotions. Here, the barrels used in the production of the lotions are seen in terrible conditions, leading to the destruction of their production equipment by security elements. The security forces equally visited a factory specialized in the production of whiskey, where workers were seen without face masks, boots, helmets, and gloves, thus producing without respecting security measures. With the checks carried out by security forces yesterday, it is hoped that such companies will cease existing in the country.
Christians of the Champion House of Prayer in Bamenda celebrate the second anniversary of the church, appreciating the good works of God and mercies and guidance, encouraging other Christians to encourage love and unity amongst one another, especially at a time when the country is faced with trouble, socio-political crisis, and a health crisis. Our reporter from the Northwest region, Charles Kebwa, gives us details in the following report.
In a caravan, Christians of the Champion House of Prayers in their vineyard celebrate the second anniversary of the House of Prayers in the church premises at the Mulang neighborhood in Bamenda. The anniversary that began 4th November for 3 days, celebrating on the theme, The Latter Glory. Prophet N.N. Waters thanking God for the success of the event as a divine revelation and covenant from God in remembrance said, the Lord Jesus Christ, who founded the Champion House of Prayers 24 months ago, entering the third year, the latter glory will unfold itself in an outstanding dimension based on what God has been revealing. He called on the Christian community of Bamenda and across the nation of Cameroon and beyond that with God, all things are possible and should make Jesus as their King.
We should make Jesus King so that Jesus can rule our nation through our leaders, because our leaders have failed. They cannot rule alone. They cannot rule on their own. They cannot rule with the knowledge that they have acquired from schools. They cannot rule by their ability. We have discovered they can only rule by the grace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We are telling them, the children of God, believers in the Christian community, that we should make Jesus a king.
Celebrating 2 years in numbers is because God has been faithful to them. Despite the fight, the ongoing socio-political crisis and attacks is there with his people because God sent him to preach the truth.
If we were not preaching the true gospel, I don't believe that the difference should have been that much clear, because Champions was like a baby that was born, delivered amid gunshots in the midst of war. 2018. We're all aware about the crisis that have been rocking on, whereby many of my colleagues ran away from the city, from the town, and went to Douala and Yaoundé and other places. But I've been there. I've been there because the Lord told me not to move. I've been there because the Lord gave me a word and He gave me a voice. I've been there because I've been preaching the truth to God's people.
As a ministry that preached the gospel of Jesus Christ, despite challenges from people who are compromised, colleagues and the society who don't know the God of Champions International House of Prayers is a spiritual God, Prophet N.N. Waters disclosed will penetrate the hinterlands, preach the gospel, win more souls to Christ, and uproot evil attacks that have been worshipped in the place of the Most High God.
Augustine Tamba has been elected President of United Councils and Cities of Cameroon with an executive board of 28 members. This was yesterday during the 5th General Assembly chaired by the Minister of Decentralization and Local Development. Details in the French language with Etape Conte.
C'est avec 198 voix contre 165 que le maire de Yaoundé 7 a pu remporter la victoire face au maire de Bébel dans la Damawa. Augustin Tamba est le nouveau président national des communes et villes unies du Cameroun pour un mandat de 5 ans. Il a été élu par ses compères au cours de la 5e Assemblée générale électrice tenue au Palais des Congrès de Yaoundé du 3 au 4 novembre 2020.
Je propose, une fois élu,
de faire venir des représentants de chaque région, l'une ou deux personnes en fonction de leurs compétences choisies, pour que nous puissions affiner ce programme que je propose, parce que je n'ai pas l'intention de vous présenter un programme personnel. Je vous présente une matrice essentielle.
Amadou Mamoud, Espagnol.
L'Assemblée était présidée par le ministre de la Décentralisation et du Développement local, Georges Elanga Obam. Augustin Tamba succède ainsi l'ancien maire de Yaoundé 1, Émile Hunt, qui était en fonction depuis 2003. Pour sa victoire, le maire de la commune de Yaoundé 7 a coalisé Anthony Dingambon, maire de Woum, dans la région du Nord-Ouest. Les communes et villes unies du Cameroun, ou CVUC, sont un réseau de 374 communes et communautés urbaines représentant 20 millions d'habitants. Étant comme telles, elles formulent des plaidoyers et fait du lobbying auprès des pouvoirs publics pour la prise en compte des intérêts des collectivités territoriales décentralisées dans la prise des décisions et contribution à la production législative et réglementaire du processus de la décentralisation.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're still on to Prime News. On my major prime, late Chief Aloysius Asanga Akom, former Deputy General Manager of PAMO, has been decorated with a posthumous medal of the Knights of the National Order of Valor for his services to the state. This was during a funeral mass celebrated in his honor at Our Lady of Lords Parish Gardens, Limbe. Details with Kumono Rimbo.
Family members, friends, and colleagues of late Chief Alois Akom Asanga II turned out massively at the Our Lady of Lords Catholic Church Gardens to celebrate the life of a fallen hero who passed into eternity on Sunday the 7th of June after a brief illness. Late Chief Alois Akom Asanga II was appointed as Deputy General Manager of PAMOL by a presidential decree on the 10th of August 2016, a capacity which he served until his demise. With his legal background, he succeeded to introduce very commendable innovations with a methodology of conceiving and styling of correspondence, mailing, among several others.
He equally went ahead in floating an initiative for social security savings scheme meant to assist workers in financial difficulties. Unfortunately, the implementation of this laudable effort was thwarted by the eruption of the socio-political crisis currently ravaging our northwest and southwest regions, and accordingly, the scheme never saw the light of day as the company's activities got grounded in consequence. Of course, it is our intention to revisit this wonderful initiative at the appointed time, and God will.
Representing the Secretary General of the CPDM Party, the President of the Permanent Divisional Delegation for Manu, Minister Victor Mengot, appreciated late Chief Alois Asanga II for his intrinsic and exceptional character, which contributed enormously to the socio-economic growth and geopolitics of the Akwaya community. He equally saluted his courage and professionalism in steering state activities, and above all, his militant commitment to the CPDM party, which won him the position of the first resource personality of the party's Central Committee to the Manitou CPDM party in Akwaya subdivision. Late Chief Alois Akom Asanga II was decorated with a posthumous medal of the Knight of the National Order of Valor by the Governor of the Southwest Region, Bernard Okalia Bilai, for his selfless services to the state.
In the name of the President of the Republic and by virtue of the powers conferred on us, I now make you Knight of the National Order of Valor.
He will forever be remembered for his services to Pamol and the nation at large, as he was not only a legal luminary, but the traditional ruler of Kajifu village under the Boki Court area in Akwaya subdivision. He was very instrumental in the peace and love that reigns in Kajifu community before and after the Inu Akwa incident, which disintegrated the village and disconnected relationships through quarrels among relatives and friends. He was equally the initiator of the 1999 Boki Cameroon conference, which brought together all the Boki community to resolve all their inter-village crises. He leaves behind a widow, 6 children, grandchildren, relatives, friends, and colleagues to mourn his heroic soul.
On our health page today, we talk diabetic eye disease. Diabetic eye disease is a major global health challenge resulting from chronic high blood glucose levels causing damage to the retinal capillaries, especially individuals suffering from type 1 and 2 diabetes. This condition affecting the back of the eye is a potential threat to vision, which may lead to blindness over time. Diabetes, being a global health disease, is projected to affect millions. However, early diagnosis through regular eye screening is essential in preventing blindness. And in sports, ambitious Boya-based Fako League side Istanbul Football Academy of Boya has set up their objectives ahead of the new season in the southwest region. Officials of the club say they are aiming for an elite ticket this season. Details with sportsman Fabrice Keninga.
Newly created Fako Divisional League side Istanbul Football Academy of Boya has commenced serious training ahead of the new Fako League season in the southwest region of Cameroon. The ambitious Moliko-based club are currently training at the Government Technical High School Moliko Field. The management of the team has set a short-term project to take the club to the promised land.
Our objective is to qualify this team to the second division and also the next season to make sure we also qualify to the MTN Elite 2. Well, we have been preparing now for 2 months and we are preparing very hard.
In order to achieve these objectives, the management of Istanbul Football Academy understands the need for some quality and fine players.
I have some good players whom I think I will be able to make a good season with. These players are not too bad. I just have to see how I try to take some measures and to make these children play good football so that we may be able to qualify to the intercourse and into the Regional League 2 so that we'll be able, from there we'll pick up now to see our ambitions. But I believe we are not just trying to build a team for regional purposes, but to the elite purposes, I believe.
With such a great vision, many pundits question the financial strength of Istanbul Football Academy of Boya.
I think we have a very strong financial backing because we are a structured team. We are a group of 8 to 10 persons running the club. Istanbul Football Academy is sponsored by a group of football lovers. I think all of the investors, we are business people that we think we cannot fail for our region.
The hugely experienced academy was one of the 3 representatives of the Southwest region at the 2020 32nd finals of the Cup of Cameroon before the season was cancelled due to the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. Everything being equal, Istanbul Football Academy will certainly be animating football in the southwest region when the new season gets underway.
Still in sports, the president of the Cameroon Karate Federation, Maitre Emmanuel Bilawakam, has been banned for life by the African Karate Federations Union. This follows sexual harassment allegations. The National Olympics and Sports Committee had earlier banned the president and some of his close collaborators for 8 years. The technical director number 2, Maitre Jean Mbobda, Maitre Germain Desiré Ambani, assistant trainer of the junior national karate team, as well as the main trainer, Maître Francis Ledieu Essay, are all live banned. 4 others, including senior national team athlete Christian Duksatsa, referee Jeff Basilican, first vice president of Fcfa Karate, Maître Paul Evehimbembe, and the trainer of the women's karate team, Madame Marie Martingo Simbi, have all been suspended for 8 years. And with vast sports package, we end today's edition of Prime News on My Media Prime. We join the community in Kumba, or Kmer division, to mourn the death or the demise of the 7 children who have been laid to rest today. Our hearts go out to the mourners and the bereaved family. Stay tuned to My Media Prime. The news was produced by Ewane Elaine Olinga, coordinated by Faith Tataberenyo. My name is Genda Peojin Blanche King. Stay tuned to My Media Prime at 7 p.m. Will be live. Happy viewing. Good night. God bless Cameroon.